You ever wonder how your phone can find one specific contact out of thousands in like a split second? Well, it's not actually magic. It's something called a search algorithm. Basically, it's a recipe the computer follows. So today, we're going to break down how they work and figure out why some are lightning fast and others are, painfully slow.
Right? We've all been there. You search for a friend's name and boom, it's right there. But then you search for an old email and you're just stuck watching that little spinning wheel of death. The difference isn't usually the data itself, but how the app is actually looking for it. The whole secret is in the algorithm.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about the most basic, most intuitive way to find something. Imagine I asked you to find a specific book on a totally messy, disorganized shelf. What would you do? You'd probably just start at one end and check every single book one by one. Well, computers can do that exact same thing.
This method is called, pretty logically, a linear search. It's super simple. It starts at the very beginning of a list and checks item number 1. Is this it? Nope. Item number 2. Is this it? Nope. It just keeps going in order until it either finds the thing it's looking for or it hits the end of the list. No tricks, no shortcuts, just a patient one-by-one process.
The process is really exactly what it sounds like. We start at position 1. Is this what we're looking for? No. Okay, let's check position 2. Is this it? Still no. And we just keep going, right down the line, step by step. It's methodical, and hey, it's guaranteed to work, eventually.
So what's the big advantage here? Well, its biggest strength is just how simple it is. And it really doesn't care if your data is a total mess. That list can be in any random order you can imagine, and this method will still work just fine.
But, of course, that simplicity comes at a price. Let's go back to that bookshelf. Imagine if the book you were looking for was the very last one on that huge, messy shelf. Yeah, you'd have to check every single other book first. And that brings us to the big problem: efficiency.
So, if the one-by-one method is way too slow for big lists, what's the alternative? Well, we need a smarter strategy, right? One that doesn't waste time checking places where the answer couldn't possibly be. This is where a divide-and-conquer approach comes in.
This much more clever method is called a binary search. Now, instead of starting at the beginning, it jumps right to the middle of the list. But there is a catch, and trust me, it is a big one. For this to work, the list absolutely, positively must be sorted beforehand. And this right here is the golden rule, non-negotiable. The list has to be in order, like these numbers you see here, sorted from smallest to largest. This organization is the secret ingredient that unlocks the power of the binary search. Without it, the whole strategy just falls apart.
So here's how it works. You jump to the middle item and you check it. Is that what you're looking for? If it is, awesome, you're done. But if your target number is smaller, you instantly know it can only be in the first half of the list, so you can completely ignore the entire second half. If your number is larger, you ignore the first half. You see? You literally just cut your problem in half with a single check. Let's watch it in action. We're on the hunt for the number 89. Okay, first check. We go right to the middle. That's 39. Oops, too small, so we immediately throw away that entire first half. Now we check the middle of what's left. That's 66. Still too small, so we discard that lower part. We check the middle of the tiny bit that's left, and boom, there it is, 89. We found it in just 3 steps. So we've got one method that's simple but kinda slow, and another that's way faster but has a big rule. So, just how big is that difference in speed? Well, let's put them to the test in a little head-to-head challenge. Here's the setup. We have a massive list, 20,000 items, and we need to find just one of them. We're going to look at the worst-case scenario here. What's the absolute maximum number of checks each algorithm might need to make? So for our good old linear search, if the item we want is at the very, very end of the list, or maybe it isn't even there at all, how many checks does it have to make?
You got it. In the worst case, it has to look at every single one. 20,000 items means up to 20,000 checks, one by one, all the way to the bitter end. All right, now for the binary search. Remember, it just keeps cutting the problem in half. To search that same list of 20,000 items, what's its worst-case number of checks? It's about 15. No, really, let that sink in for a second. 20,000 checks versus 15. That is a staggering difference. It's the difference between waiting for what feels like forever and getting an answer instantly. This is the raw power of a more efficient algorithm.
So does this mean binary search is just always better? Well, not necessarily. That massive speed advantage comes with that one big string attached. It's really all about picking the right tool for the right situation.
And this chart here breaks it down perfectly.
You've got linear search. Yeah, it's slow, but it's dead simple and it has 0 requirements. On the other hand, you have binary search, which is crazy fast, but it's a bit more complex, and more importantly, it demands that your data is already perfectly sorted.
And this quote from our source material just nails it. The advantage of a linear search is its simplicity. The disadvantage is its efficiency. Sometimes simple and flexible is exactly what you need. Other times, you need raw, unadulterated speed, and you're willing to do the prep work, like sorting the data, to get it.
So here's the real takeaway. There is no single best algorithm. An engineer has to make a choice based on the situation. Is my data already sorted? How big is this list going to get? How often are people going to be searching it? The answers to those questions are what determine which tool is the right one for the job.
And this is why it all matters in the apps you use every single day. I mean, think about your photo gallery. Searching by date, which is already sorted, right, is almost instant. That's probably a binary search in action. But what about searching for the word dog across thousands of photos that aren't organized by content? That might take a second. That's likely a linear search chugging away. So next time you search for anything, you'll know exactly what's happening behind the screen to find that digital needle in the haystack.